Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What pleased you most about Tuesday evening?
The fact that we managed to come back for a very tough situation the way on Saturday, we managed to do it just looking at ourselves, seeing the things that we did that we could do better, and putting the 120% everyone on it.
I wanted to talk to you about the two guys up front. Normally in football football's a game of partnerships obviously and cohesion. It's very rare that you see two players click the way those guys did up front.
Yes, I think they both did very well. As a coach, you end up analysing and getting into detail that maybe on the first side you don't realise, but I think the defensive work was superb. They put things much easier for the whole team when we were defending, because their understanding of the roles, understanding of doing it together, and as well that happened offensively. I think the team played very well for them as well, trying to supply them and to help them on their mobility that they were having and on the way they were playing. And at the same time, I was pleased because they really helped us to get those 3 points in a moment that the team is still growing, because in the end of the day, Alvaro came a week and a half ago, so it's still early, and obviously he needs a lot of time to learn the British game and to learn the club and to learn about their teammates. So I think very, very promising. But it's a new game on Sunday, and that's they start from scratch, and we need to do it again.
I know sometimes too much emphasis can be put on systems and formations. Are you experimenting at the moment until you find a formation that you settle on, or are you going to keep it flexible?
Well, I think nowadays football it's very important in the championship. It's very important to know the opposition that you're playing against and know them very well. That gives you a little bit of an edge, because then you highlight their strengths, their weaknesses, and you highlight as well your weaknesses and your strength. Because if you're playing against a team that their strength is exactly the opposite as your weakness, then you might have to do something about it. I think being flexible is always something very positive. We've been flexible tactically if you compare it with the use of playing two systems, for example. But the roles have been the same on both systems. So in the end of the day, the positioning of the player has been a bit different, but the roles in the team and how do we do things has been the same. So we always have an anchor point, and that's very important tactically. But I want the team to be flexible, because I think in the end of the day, championship requires that. But obviously I understand that's normal that as the team gels more and more, they will get more stuck to this anchor point more frequently.
And finally, for me, in terms of players and fitness, can you update us on people like Jacques that are out and any possible new problems that you've got?
Yeah, we have Maxime Maxime didn't play on Tuesday, and we've been taking care of him as well. He has a minor problem, and until the last minute we will not know. Jake got back to training after the game in Barnsley, and Karim is back on training as well after the game in Barnsley. Now, I'm assessing still have another training session. I'm assessing if they're fit enough or if we hold on. We still haven't decided that, but slowly the players are coming back. Magoma, we expect him to is soon as well. It's getting closer, but not ready for this week.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Pep, on Tuesday night, there's a fantastic contribution from your wide players, Steve Seddon and Wes Harding, setting up both goals. When you've got players like Alvaro and the Duke up front, how important is that supply from wide areas?
It's very important, because in the end, the way that the game evolved in second half, it was clear that we had a 2v2 situation with Juki and Alvaro against their two centre backs. So every time we could supply them, we knew that Barnsley had to do a lot of things to avoid them being dangerous. So it was important to supply them from areas that they could be dangerous. And the ball from the wide, both, and the contribution from the wide players is very important. First of all, because we played to their strength, like where's that ball that he put to Juki. And the second one, because Seddon found Alvaro on a break, on a ball in behind. He chested very well and faced a 1v1 with the keeper. With one simple ball, we beat the whole Barnsley team. So from wide you can put those balls. And it's especially important for me because Wes and Sets, they're still young players, and the fact that Sets is already on 2 assists, and the fact that they're finding offensive play and they're trying passes that probably they never thought about it before. It just means that they're on a progression, and we want to win football games, but we want to develop our own young talent, because that's what keep giving hope to the club for the future. So that's why it was massive for me, the game of those two.
You must be pleased with the way and the manner in which we finished the game on Tuesday. We were the stronger team in the latter stages, coming off the back of a tough Saturday as well.
Yeah, especially for that last point. The fact that we were coming from Nottingham, we didn't finish the game very well in Nottingham. The fact that we displayed that performance and we finished the way we finished, I think we were prepared. All the options were cleared. Everyone gave everything, and especially I need to thank the fans, because they were with us from the beginning, despite coming from Nottingham. It's like they all bought into the team, and that gave us a massive weapon to keep going. And as the game developed and we went and finished stronger, and we could have a different score. I don't know. I was happy anyway, obviously, with the win. But the fact as well that we could get Odin as well in the team, it's something that, as I said before, it's sometimes very difficult to link performance and work for the future of the club. So when this can happen, and that's been happening a little bit this season, it's something that makes you as a coach very proud.
It was an exciting cameo performance from Jefferson Montero as well, although I think I'm right in saying he's not available on Sunday. Is that a glimpse of what he can bring to the group?
Yes, he's a player that is a very offensive player. He's a player that is dominant in the 1v1, and it's very difficult to defend these kind of players that are so dominant in the 1v1. You need to set up cover systems, and you always end up dragging players out of positions to try to avoid that risk that he brings. So that why, for me, it was important, this kind of player, because it gives that team, it gives Birmingham something very powerful. That is that the opposition will have to put 3 eyes on it all the time, and I think it will free some spaces for the others. He gives us a threat as well with his pace, and I think he did very well when he came on. We just hope that, unfortunately, he cannot play Sunday. You're right, because it's his parent club. But we just hope they will use this time to put some good work on him, and we have him ready for next week. And at the same time, I would like to highlight that the whole team, like, he gave a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but the whole team finished so strong that I was so confident that he could perform like that.
Looking ahead to Swansea, a club you of course know very well personally, I'm sure you look forward to going to Liberty again, but there's a big opportunity to pick up points, which is your priority. Yes,
that's our priority, obviously. We know it's a very difficult game. Them and Stoke are two teams that they've been relegated last season 2 seasons ago from the Premier League, so they have this Premier League experience, and they're both rated to be in the top of this league. We have them now in a week, but for Swansea, that's the only one that is the most important now. And for me, it's very special because obviously I worked there many years and have a lot of relationship that I still keep, and it's a place that I love and a club that I love, and I think they're doing fantastic. It's going to be very tough for the fact that they play with a lot of confidence, and that's the best weapon that Swansea has. But we just need to make sure that we understand the game and we play to our strengths and try to take as much as we can from there, knowing that it's going to be very hard. And after the game, I wish them all the best.
They've managed to build up a reputation over the years for the way they play and their style of football. Given the time, is that something you'd like to develop here?
I think everyone who works in football like to help the club to develop a solid way of playing that can stand the years. I think that's something that afterwards becomes legacy for the fans, because in Swansea, I remember when we were there, obviously you have a lot of good memories, but the most important memory that I remember is that the fans know exactly how you play and they want you to play, and they're protective of that way of playing, and in the end that became a strength as well for the team. So that's as a coach you always want that, but at the same time, I know how difficult that is to get, and the most important thing is to balance the performance with slowly make steps into that direction.
You spoke a little bit and touched upon the formations that you've used this season. Do you think that keeps the opposition guessing when they're doing their homework on Birmingham City?
Don't know really, because I don't know what they do, but for sure keep them a little bit guessing. It was not. We played with 4 at the back against Bristol. Probably Nottingham would think that we were going to play with 4 because we did a very good game against Bristol. After that, Barnsley could have thought that we might change that. In the end of the day, what is important for us is the idea. We're just adding on things on what we were last season and try to be as good as possible and do it as good as possible as a team. As I said before, formation is just the positioning of the players in the pitch. The important thing is the roles. What is every player doing when we have the ball, when we don't have the ball, when we just won the ball, when we just lost the ball, when we are on set plays, and these things doesn't change much from formations to formations. It's about the only thing that it changes is the position in the pitch where you do your role a little bit. So that's why, despite of having used 2 different shapes, the team kind of follow the same plan.
You spoke about the injuries, but I just wanted to get a word on Jonathan Grounds and Chet Cater. I know they're both still injured, but are they still both in your thinking in terms of the first team?
Yeah. Well, Chet Cater, excuse me, I forgot that one. Chet Cater as well started training this week. Obviously, he's been on recovery from the injury a bit longer, so we're working as well on his fitness. And Jonathan is still working with the physios on his muscles. Yeah.
Charlie Lakin joined Stevenage yesterday on loan. How important is it for his development that he goes out and gets first team football?
Well, the club decided that was the best option for him. I understand it perfectly and wish him all the best, because in the end of the day, the most important thing is to play as many games as possible. Is the way that the play develops the most. Then obviously the higher he can play is the better. But in the end of the day, for me, the fact that he will go somewhere and he will have games, they will get him even more ready, and we can even assess him, and then he will kick on his development even further. So I think it's a good idea. I understand. We all want Charlie to be a huge success here in Birmingham, but sometimes you need to go to get some experience and come back and be a good success. We need to bring every player, and the club in the end needs to bring every player with the maximum opportunities possible to make sure they succeed for us. So the club thought that route was the right one for Charlie, and I have nothing to say, just to support him and back him up. Yeah.
Finally from me, 1,300 tickets sold at £30 a ticket on a Sunday morning in Swansea, 3 hours away. A fantastic backing from the fans.
Oh yeah, as always, especially with the Swansea, because it can rain there. So, no. Serious note. I said it. What the fans did for us on Tuesday night, after the hard moment they suffered on Saturday, it just shows that they bought what the players tried to do. They bought what the club tried to do, and they want to help, and they want to help us push forward. That's, for us, that's massive. I said it before in the radio. I'm with the players every day, assessing the level, helping them to develop, supplying every need that they can have, or whatever we can do to get them better, and obviously, and help prepare the games. But I see that they value what the fans are in Birmingham, and we see it after every game, because the fact that they turn to the fans always after every game, home and away. That's massive. So in this, with the fans, we know, us from the staff and the players, we know that we are in this together. Yeah.